Good morning, early birds. Thank you so much for always being here so early and joining me. Look at that. All week we've had the ABC song for you. I keep trying to remember when I was a little kid and how I really did like looking forward to some of those little things. And I'm so happy when you get up with me early in the morning. And so I'm so happy to play that ABC song for you. And I'm so happy that Greg and Steve, there's always a copyright hit for me and it doesn't have any problem playing their song. So I'm so happy about that too. I'm so happy I had time to put on some lipstick today. And I'm going to be honest with you. The other day, I noticed 2 days ago, I was having caffeine withdrawals when I didn't have a cup of coffee. Yeah, because I do drink a lot of coffee, right? If I have a cup in the morning, and I almost always do, but I go through lots of periods where I don't have any coffee at all, right? Like I might start now, but I don't know. Oh gosh, it's fall. It's coffee time. And here's the other thing. I love drinking coffee with you here on the show. It's just so delicious. Gives me a minute for, just like I put my eyeballs, gives me a minute to think about what I'm doing, right? For a second. Sometimes I forget where I'm going. You know that. And that helps me. Right now where I'm going is I have my lemons cut up. Remember, I cut them up into triangles like this by cutting the lemon in half and half again, and each one of those pieces in half again, and you end up getting triangles. And so this morning, so I wasn't feeling the headache I had from the withdrawals. Yeah, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I really don't feel good. I rarely have a headache. What's going on? That's what was going on this morning. No headache, no withdrawals. Although I will say, I did have a cup of coffee. Giant cup of coffee yesterday. I know. She starts at this speed. Bright first thing in the morning. And yeah, if you catch me at midnight, I was working on the EEOC petition or rebuttal, right? Same speed. Stevia. Now I have to be careful. I will not buy this brand any longer. And I'm going to show you the brand that I'm not going to buy any longer because it's always inconsistent. I sent this back to, and it may be the fact that it is actually Zerbos, and it could be Zerbos itself. Because, you know, I've been politically outspoken, and I finally decided that the reasons why I'm having these problems is because I'm politically outspoken. So no matter what the numbers say, we know what those, I don't dare call them magic men. They'd walk away on a cloud of their own smoke coming out of their choo-choo train. I've got to put these in. I want to put these in the refrigerator. I'll be right back. And if you didn't catch that, I meant their caboose. Let's keep going. All right, so yeah, we're just gonna, I wanted to think because it seemed like there was something else I wanted to, oh, I've got it up there. I wanted to make sure that I did not forget for you today, and I've got it up there. So, no problemo. No problemo so far. We'll see. Look at what I did. I changed my be right back. I'm not going to be right back. I'm right here. Just don't worry about it. I'm going to keep talking really fast so that you know it's not going to, if there's any pause, then you're going to think I'm going to be right back. Look at what I did. I changed and I put our day on there. So we have a date on our be right back, November 9th, 2023. And we have a day, 94, day 94. So awesome. I think. Little updates. I also, well, doesn't even matter. I'll talk about it a little bit later on. So we are going back to root words, prefixes, and suffixes. All of these things that we've been talking about this last week and probably, I'm certain, part of last week for sure, all really has to do with understanding words better. Now, this is the grammar lesson that you want to, I'm just thinking, this is the grammar lesson that you want to pay attention to. But everything that we've been presenting when I first put this root words, prefixes, and suffixes title up there, because you'll see it some other place and we didn't even talk about, well, we referenced it, right? But we didn't learn about it. And then I went into things like homophones, homographs, and homonyms, right? So we looked into those. And what we were doing is we were understanding more and more about, oh, these are our titles. I'm sorry. I've got the wrong thing. I opened up the wrong thing. I think because I called it the wrong thing. No, I loaded up the wrong thing. Okay, just give me a second. I loaded up the wrong, sorry. All right. Let me, all right, so for your entertainment, I'm not going to talk. But I am going to laugh at my own jokes. And I guess in doing so, I'm talking. Okay. I have my thinking face. That's usually not how my thinking face looks. This is how my thinking face usually looks. Right? Because I'm usually looking up at the screen like this. But not up in the air. So I don't know how my thinking face looks. You tell me. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. You're like, is she thinking here? She's got the same things up there. Okay, so here, contractions help us better understand words, right? We've got two words that we cram into one word. It helps us better understand root words, right? What are the root words of can't? Cannot, right? Right? I don't know, Dr. Feravich, what are root words? Here are homophones. In homophones, we had to understand the meaning of a word in order to be able to tell when we have two words that sound the same, what they actually mean, right? And then to help us along the same avenue, we talked about synonyms and antonyms. We're going to get back to that in just a minute. What I want to do is I want to get back to, and we talked about homonyms and homophones, and all of this has to do with what we introduced to you yesterday. Etymology, this big word. I don't care. I used to, when I was young, I used to like to remember certain big words like interrogative. I used to always remember interrogative. That's a sentence, that's a question, right? In etymology, I didn't have much of a problem remembering either. Remember, we took apart the word O-L-O-G-Y, which is the study of. And that's really kind of what we're learning here. And so in all of this lesson, as I've said, from starting last week when we first introduced root words, prefixes, and suffixes, what I really was introducing you to is a better understanding of the root of the word, which is really the history of the word. If you go all the way back to the roots, if they go all the way back to your roots, what are you doing? You're moving back to your parents and your grandparents and your great grandparents and your great great grandparents, all of your ancestors, all of your history. The same thing is what we're doing when we look at the roots of words. We just have a big word for it in science, so it confuses everybody, and the scientists sound really smart. We know what they're up to, don't we? Okay, so etymology. So, what are roots? Roots are the most basic part of a word that contains the primary idea or meaning of that word. Okay? So let's go back. Now we're going to go backwards just a little bit. And what we're going to do is go back to not that one. The synonyms and antonyms. Synonyms, words that have the same or similar meanings. Antonyms, words that have opposite meanings. Now, we presented those, as in me presented those, on day 92. That's the reason why I still have the 92 up there. So sometimes, not always, but sometimes I do manage to put up those day numbers and keep the day numbers as a reference. When it's difficult to reference some of those, I give you a little chart like I did when we went through all of the parts of speech. So at the end of learning all the parts of speech, I gave you a little timetable for all the days that we talked about those parts of speech in this early bird classroom. Because as you are aware, I was more active in putting in science or math classrooms, and now I really wanted to get these parts of speech done. Once the parts of speech are done for you and our understanding of grammar, we can begin to go into writing on topics that we've learned about. We continue to learn grammar, but we take on more topics for early birds. All right. Remember what I said, that the biggest lesson here is for us to learn to read, and that in that we need to be buying books. I have to see if I think it is right. Maybe it is right there. It's probably right here. It doesn't matter, because I got something else for you anyway. So buy those second or third grade books to help you read word by word. And it is, as an adult, if you're struggling, you have to have help. But As I showed you yesterday, you can type that word into Google and the dictionary will come up to tell you what that word is, but then it will also tell you how to pronounce that word, right? Now, I've been having a lot of trouble pronouncing some of the words in our book, The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. One of the reasons why I'm having it is because they do Spanglish. They go in between Spanish and English, and so I'm having a really hard time. What was it? What was the word I had yesterday? That was like, it's like, oh, what was it? Come on. And that it was an English word, and I'm trying to sound it out like a Spanish word. So, we need context. What does that have to do with anything? What I'm saying is you got to pick things up. You have to listen to how people speak, right? And then even things like, what about this? How about this, folks? I know. I didn't tell you I was going to do this, did I? No, I did not. How about doing this? Nobody knows that you're not picking up these cards for your child, right? Apple, right? So these really can help you with sight words. And the idea here is that you can pick up what that word is from the context. Remember, we were talking about that yesterday with synonyms and antonyms. We're going to come right back to it, right? You can, I don't know, Dr. Feravich, you've been saying that all morning. All right, look, though. You can come back to, I'm just thinking about something, an interview, too, that I heard. Two thoughts going on at the same time. You can come back to the context, right, and know what that word is. I don't even have to show you. What is it, right? How about this? Oops. Right? Seriously? You have trouble putting it like, all right, whatever. Stop yelling at me. I'm not yelling. So you know what that is without even looking at the word. So here's where you need to use a little bit of self-control. You need to use a little, we called it yesterday, self-regulation, right? Know when to go forward and do more. Learn the spelling of the word. Don't simply learn that that's umbrella. You have to learn. And when you're learning the spelling of those words, you want to sound it out, because memorizing every letter isn't really going to help you a whole lot. That's hard to memorize every letter of every word. But when you chunk it, we should all know how to spell Half of our language is half of my language is right? When you chunk it, put it in chunks, or what do we call it? We call it stops, don't we? We call it stops. We also call it syllables, don't we? Right? We call it syllables. That's our grammar word, syllables. But we call it stops here in early birds, right? We understand it. Now we understand. Oh, we're stopping. When do we stop at the word in the word? Brel, la. Oh, 3 stops. Now let's spell it in chunks. Brel, br. There's our consonant blend. Long time ago, right? There's our consonant blend. Bruh, bruh. I can hear it. Bruh, bruh. B-R. I can hear it. They're blended together, but I can hear the B and the R. Brel. Oh, another short vowel. Oh, E. There we go. Get good at it, right? We know A-E-I-O-U. How about those in short vowel sounds? We know umbrella. That's anyway. Brel, la. Do, re, mi, fa, so, la. I know. And every time I get on camera, I know. Why doesn't she sing? I know you all love my voice, my morning singing voice. I sing out the window in the morning and I have birds come and sing with me. That's all I'm saying. So you criticize my morning voice all you want. All I'm saying is you don't know it. You know. My singing voice. Same thing here. I never have an inside voice. You know that. Same thing here. Balloon. 2 stops. Bull. That's a little bit harder, isn't it? It's balloon. That's not balloon. Yeah, I know. If you went to the online dictionary, they would show you the symbol that goes over the A that shows that that A isn't a short A. Remember we had that sort of half U that goes over the short vowels to show it's short? In the dictionary, they have a different symbol that goes over that A because it doesn't sound like balloon. We don't say balloon. Balloon, unless we're from Tennessee, we might. We might from Tennessee. Then they know how to spell it better than we do from the north. Balloon. Can I have that balloon? That's maybe how they learned it. I don't know. Ugh. Loon. Now I've had at least 3 people come on here and yet I have 1 view. YouTube, what's going on here? How are you letting these people infiltrate my YouTube channel with these preposterously low numbers? Loon. We also had diphthongs that were 2 vowels. That's also a diphthong. Consonant diphthongs, murmur diphthongs, and diphthongs. I know. Consonant blends. Did I say that? I know I said consonant. Did I say consonant diphthongs? I think I said consonant blends. Making sure I did. I know. They confuse grammar by confusing the English language. Anyway, all I'm saying here is that this is all about reading. And the more that we understand about words, the better readers we become. And again, it's not simply just being able to read words. It is being able. What's the purpose of reading? What is the purpose? Honest to gosh, what's the purpose? Entertainment. Yes. But actually, the majority of our reading really is done in order to communicate ideas and thoughts, isn't it? Even if we're reading a story that we enjoy. It really is. Now it went up to 2 views, but we have 0 extra views. So whatever. So all of this is about getting to be better readers. So even though you think, oh my gosh, what was that word she just used? It was just like, etymology, yeah, etymology. And maybe you're not there to remember that word, but maybe you are. Maybe you're one of those people. When I was young, like I said, I learned, for the first time I learned interrogative. I never forgot it. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I never forgot it. Some words I like. Some big words I like. Ephemeral. First time I heard that, now I couldn't remember how to pronounce it, but I was using it like all the time. Ephemeral. Because it was like, it's out there in the weird space. I can't put my finger on it. Like those stupid fruit flies. They're out there in the weird space. They're ephemeral. Not really, because you could catch them. But you get the drift. You kind of get the drift, right? Then we can use some words that, we're really learning to use some words that express how we really feel and think, right? Okay. I'm not sad, I'm melancholy. Difference. There's a difference. I'm neither right now, just to let you know. Okay, let's add something here so we could possibly get to more of our lesson. Remember, all of this is the lesson. I'm not just teaching you. I'm not just opening up your brain like universities do or schools do and then pouring the information in, never to be seen again except for on the quiz, you big loser. You flunked it. But what? Yeah, you might have to learn it more than one time. You might have to hear it in this context, and in this context, and in this context for you to learn it. Now here's a different context. Let me put my glasses on. Not there. Oh, I was so sure of myself, thinking that the glasses were right there, and they're not. That's okay. We're going to do this without them. Dr. Feravich, then you're squinting. We don't like it when you squint, Dr. Feravich. I know, but it's okay. There we go. I got it. Window capture. Now we're looking for preview. Oh, and it came right. Bergstedt store is where I got this, but these are from Teachers Pay Teachers. So this is where we talked about the homophones, the homographs, and the homonyms, right? We also had synonyms, a word that means exactly or nearly the same as another word: afraid, scared, and frightened. Other examples: big, large, huge, automobile, car, vehicle, all similar examples of the same word, right? Angry, furious, or frustrated even, right? Strange, odd, weird, garbage, trash, junk, waste, right? Why do they have so many of those words? Honest to gosh, why are so many of those words there? Antonyms, a word that means the opposite of another: hard or soft, right or wrong, loose, tight, wild, tame, gentle, rough, love, hate, false, true, north, south, strong, weak. Do you see how knowing these words really would help you better understand and better communicate, right? How many times have you seen me right here in this place say, oh, I've got another word. What's the word I'm thinking of? Well, it's not this, but it's that. But it's kind of like this, right? If I were writing, I would find the perfect word. So we also talked about homophones, right? And there's our definition: pronounce the same, different spelling, different meaning. Flower, flower, scent, scent. We already did all of these, right? Homographs and homonyms. Remember that the idea is to become better readers, right? So we learn all of these words, but in the context, I'm going to know the difference between here and here. I can hear that person, and in the context when I'm reading, it's spelled H-E-A-R. But we have to be engaged and active in learning it. Just like I said with the umbrella. I can see what the word was. I looked at the picture. But to break it down into the chunks and see if it's an irregular word, does it have irregular sounds in it, or are there just long and short vowel sounds, right? Or there's a weird sound like balloon, right? And it's got two L's, so it sounds like ba, B-A, loon, L-O-O-N. So there are things to think about even when we are, picking up things like sight words, sight word cards, right? I don't think they call them flashcards. We call them sight words because they're not on flashcards. They're not on cards, right? What else here? What else here did I purchase for you guys and gals, by the way? For all of you, what did I purchase here? All right, wrong one. I just took it out. I just took the same cards out. I'm as surprised as you. And these, what did I do here? What did I pick up here? We don't know. You haven't showed us yet. Shapes. But then look at that shape. That is kind of that might be a sight word: square, right? It's a little hard to sound out. Has an E on the end, but our A is not long. We have an AR there, which is a murmur diphthong, right? So even picking up some things like this, which is very fun, even for adults, I think. Circle. Look at circle. That's not the easiest word to spell either, is it? Circle. So here we've got shapes. Hexagon. Hexagon. These are all wonderful things that you can pick up, right? And on these cards, we actually have two sides. So I like that as well. All right. As a teacher. Dear God, is she ever going to get to root words, prefixes, and suffixes? Okay, let's look at, I really did, hold on one second. I need to find, all right, there we go. I needed to find our other preview here. Okay. Now remember, this is where we left off yesterday. So there are context clues, just like there are context clues on these flashcards, right? There are context clues that we can use on these, our flashcards. What is that? What is that? Sun. But this is a homophone. See how you can even from young children's flashcards, how you can expand your communication skills that you use and make association. Sun, but how is it spelled? S-O-N or S-U-N? S-U-N, it's a homophone. It's a word that sounds like another word, but it's spelled different, like my sons, right? They're not this sun, although they are bright to me. They are my actual sons. I don't know who some of these people are around me. Let's keep going, all right? So what we were doing is we left off with some of these, here I said, really, we are going to talk about it, and really, we are not talking about it. Root words, but we're going to get to it, right? So the tenacious, what is this? Let me see here. Choose a synonym for the underlined word in the phrase, the tenacious athlete. Now here we don't have a lot of context, do we? So it could be tenacious could be lazy. It could be any one of those, because here our provider doesn't give us very much context at all. No picture, no. Choose antonym. The antonym, dehydrated fruits and vegetables. Are they delicious? It's hard to say. There is no context. So this becomes a little bit difficult. But it has an answer key, so we're happy about that. I thought that there was something else on here, and I know. Oh, this is what I wanted right here. This is what I wanted right here. So real concrete test-taking strategies that they list here. Let's make it just a little bit bigger. And let me see here. I'll make that just a little bit smaller. There we go. And we see, if you see, it says, here we go. Never mind, click here to access the slide version of these. No, we don't need the slide version. So test-taking strategy number 1, use context clues, right? And these are not, remember, these are reading strategies. They say test-taking strategies, but they're reading strategies. They're reading strategies because, oh, those are just the 3 cards. And then, oh, I see. Well, there are no context clues. I was looking at that a little bit closer. There's still only the 3 rules that we already talked about. Sorry about that. So there's only 3 rules that we already talked about. Use context clues, use word clues, and eliminate those words that you already know, right? Or answers that you already know. So here they're talking about test taking strategies, but these are the same strategies that we use when we are reading and trying to understand what we're reading, right? Okay, that's why they're good test taking strategies. All right, no longer need that anymore. Now what I want is oh, I know. Oh, all right, I know where it is. I didn't put it up here. Okay, sorry. I do that a lot, don't I? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that my eyeballs are up there. I hear it come back to me when I hear other people say that they're sorry for things that it's like, you don't have to be sorry. But I do because I'm not getting the stuff up there. And I had it up here. Here we go. I know it's not in record time or anything, but. So this is actually, let me tell you that, I mean, not that you care or whatever. It doesn't matter if you care or not. I'm going to tell you anyway. That I took this from Southwestern Encyclopedia. So you know our great big fat encyclopedia that I've been using all along here. And I spotted these pages months ago. And I've been preparing for this lesson for a very long time. It's an important lesson because what you're doing is you're not only learning to break down a word, just like they ask you to do here in number 2, right? Use clues for the word, use prefixes and suffixes. And here, when you take a look at dehydrated, well, you might be able to say, well, ed is a suffix, so it's past tense. So dehydrate is a verb. That gives you some information, doesn't it? It ends in an ed, so dehydrate is a verb, right? You also might be able to see that there's the prefix de there, right? Let's take a look at this. So all of those words have prefixes and suffixes. What do you mean, Dr. Feravich? Etymology. We have the ology on the end. Homonyms, HOMO at the beginning. Homographs, HOMO at the beginning, which we said this were the same or similar, but that's not the only meaning. And graphs at the end. Graphs also mean pictures. So, is that all I want to show you? So many of the words that we see have prefixes and suffixes on them. A prefix is found at the beginning of a word before the root, which changes the meaning of the word. Remember, we've got roots, which are the most basic part of a word that contains the primary idea or meaning. We have prefixes. Those are found at the beginning of a root word. And we have suffixes, which are found at the end of a root word, the end of a word after the root, which also changes the meaning. So when we take a look at a word like dehydrated, we can see that there is as we said, there's a suffix on the end, ed, which changes the meaning of the word to a past tense. Now, we might be, well read enough to know that de is a prefix, but there's more to it than that. What there is there's the etymology. There isn't just a prefix and a suffix. There's an etymology of a word. So hydro, for example, means water. D would be like a not, right? So it would cancel. D and hydro is water, no water. In the past, ed. So from knowing etymology, knowing what prefixes mean and what they do, suffixes, what they mean and or what they do, then we are better able to, you can see, use a big word like dehydrated. 4 stops in that word. And we can break it down and understand it as well. We can probably even spell it pretty well. D-E, hydrate, right? Hydrate. We wouldn't know that it's a Y there, but that's pretty easy to learn. It's pretty easy to learn, right? Once you make that mistake, you might not make it again. I don't know, maybe you'll make it 4 times and then you'll remember, right? Where are we on our time? Okay, so what we have gotten to now is exactly where I've been wanting to get to, which is understanding these and knowing these. I honestly, I don't have my glasses on and I don't want to take the time to mess with it. So these are, there we go. Okay, I couldn't see exactly what they were. These are common prefixes. So we can see the prefixes. Let's make that big. We see the meaning of the prefix. So here we can see the meaning of the prefix DE, down, reversal. I said cancels out, didn't I? Away, to move away from. And then we see some examples there, right? And at the very end, the last column is, what are your own examples? Thinking of your own words. So here we have common prefixes. Here, more common prefixes. Common Latin, oh, wait, do I have this? Oh, no, I think I have a suffixes on a different page. These are root words. So in the same way that we have a meaning to our prefixes, we have a meaning to our root words. We have words that use the root word. We call those derivatives. And then another column for your examples. More root words. And now we have, we as in me and the encyclopedia, we have got common suffixes there. Same thing, the suffix, the meaning, an example, and then your example. That's a lot of work we've done. And we're going to come tomorrow back to those tables and we're going to look through every one of those prefixes, suffixes, and root words. They're all not going to stick. Of course, they're not all going to stick. That means you're not going to remember them all. But some of them will. Some of those prefixes and some of those suffixes that you hear tomorrow, you'll remember for the rest of your life. The meaning. And I think that's awesome. I think what we do here in the Early Bird Classroom is just awesome. I hope you think it's awesome too. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. I am here as the teacher for your Early Bird Classroom. Thanks for joining me. Let me get my little thing on there.